everybody! Welcome to the best channel on YouTube, because it has me, Little Red!
Hello! By request today we are reviewing the 2005 action movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. This video contains spoilers. Mr. and Mrs. Smith are a married couple. The movie opens with them at a marriage counselor. They have some discussion about whether it's been 5 or 6 years that they've been married.
5 years ago.
6.
Right, 5 or 6 years ago.
And they've been having some problems. They tell the story of how they met. They met in Colombia when they pretended to be a couple in order to hide from the police who were looking for people traveling alone. They dance, they drink, and they end up spending the night together and falling for each other. As it so perfectly works out, they both work in New York City. Shortly after they come back from Colombia, they get married. 5 years later,
6.
their marriage is struggling. They feel like they're kind of going through the motions but not actually connecting with each other. There is no spark there anymore. We watch as they go through mundane tasks until they get to their jobs. It turns out that John Smith and Jane Smith are both assassins. They each get assigned to take out the same person, someone who is being transferred to the FBI. And because they are both taking out the same mark, they end up discovering each other's identities. The movie follows as they are both given 48 hours to take the other spouse out. They are shown struggling with the decision. Both of them end up taking shots at the other one and assuming the other person wants them dead and doesn't care about the marriage. Until finally they have a standoff at gunpoint and neither one of them can take the shot. They end up reconnecting, rediscovering each other, and telling each other their secrets.
John, my parents, they died when I was 5. I'm an orphan.
Who was that kindly fellow who gave you away at our wedding?
Paid actor.
As they hide from other assassins that are now tasked with taking them out because they didn't succeed at killing each other. John and Jane Smith then decide to take out the mark that they were both assigned to originally because they figure their companies want him more than they want them. They track down this person who is played by Adam Brody. They capture him, but he tells them that it was all a setup because their companies discovered that they were working for rival agencies and were married. They were hoping that John and Jane Smith would take each other out and remove the conflict in their agencies. John and Jane Smith realize they could either separate forever or they can fight their way out and stay together. They end up deciding they want to stay together and they fight all of the assassins there to take them out. And the last scene shows them talking to their therapist and everything is much better, but they are unsure what the future holds. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have great chemistry in this movie. You can tell how much they enjoy working together. Their personal lives really show up on the screen. This movie is how they met and fell for each other. I know there's a lot of controversy around that because Brad Pitt was married at the time to someone else.
We were on a break!
However, this movie, you can't deny how much chemistry and how good they work together. The movie is exciting. There's a lot of great action scenes. There are shootout sequences that are really well choreographed. There's some great car chases. One complaint I would have about it is paced pretty slowly. It was almost an hour into the movie and John and Jane Smith were just discovering each other's identities. However, the movie does go by pretty fast. I wasn't really bored even on this rewatch, and once they do discover each other's identity, it's pretty much nonstop action until the end of the movie. So now the big question, does it hold up? And honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. This movie being made in 2005, I really wasn't sure what to expect. I was expecting maybe a lot of misogyny, maybe some off-color jokes that weren't very appropriate now in 2025, but really there was very little. One of the smaller characters makes a side reference to her girlfriend, which I thought was kind of a neat little inclusion. It's not made a big deal about. It's very normalizing, which I really appreciated. As for misogyny, there isn't a lot. Angelina Jolie's character is portrayed as kind of a controlling woman, but I feel like that's more part of her character as an assassin to show how she got so good at what she does. There's also a softer side to her. She laughs at John's John's jokes. She's shown crying and really caring about him. And I felt like those characteristics really balanced her character out, gave her a lot of depth. Brad Pitt's character does hold a line of the bumbling husband stereotype, but he's also shown as really good at his job and being able to think for himself. He doesn't quite let Jane push him around as the movie sort of sets up at the beginning. And I really liked that. I really thought both of the characters had a lot of depth. They were both very likable, and you really rooted for them separately and together. There's some fun cameos, like I mentioned, from Adam Brody. He's pretty funny in the movie. There's Vince Vaughn, being very typical Vince Vaughn, who adds a lot to the movie. There's a lot of fun cameos by female actresses that are popular now, but who weren't as big back then. It's fun to see them in some minor roles before they made it big. One other complaint I would have is some of the plot points just seemed kind of convenient. John and Jane Smith both working and living in New York, and the ending where they take out all the assassins and then everything is fine and they get to stay together. And I feel like the characters of Mr. and Mrs. Smith are probably set up for failure when you've spent the first 5 or 6 years of your marriage not knowing who each other was and telling a bunch of lies and keeping a bunch of secrets, and then you both try to kill each other several times. It probably isn't gonna work out in the end, but I'm rooting for them. I really hope they did stay together. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care of yourself and drink water. Bye-bye.
Subscribe!